This is the Unexpected Podcast. Well, welcome everyone to another episode of the Unexpected Podcast. And we are so excited because in the studio, we have a wonderful guest, John-Marc Grob. John-Marc.
Hey.
Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me here.
The podcast. Yeah.
I'm excited to be here right now.
We're thrilled.
This is our reunion now since we had reunions at the Johnny Cash event.
Right.
So this is another reunion right now with you guys.
I love it. And you know what I was thinking is I think when Lee and I, my husband, first met you and Mary, your lovely wife. Hi, Mary. I think you were wearing that shirt. So this is really cool.
I have like 3 other ones like this.
Okay, well, similar
But very
shirt.
similar. I think it might be this one, though.
All right. And before we get into learning all about John-Marc and what he's up to, I want to thank you all who are praying for Lee as he goes through his medical challenge. He's not on the podcast with us today, but he's here in spirit. And guess what? I've got him here, a little picture get up. My best pictures of him are all in my office at work. So just wanted to bring Lee on for just a moment. But let's get into our guest. And John-Marc is an artist, cartoonist, I'd say entrepreneur, just a fun person to be around. And he's brought some amazing things into the studio. So John-Marc, let's just get started. What inspired you to start doing art, cartoon drawing, and all the things that you're into?
Well, before I answer that question, you forgot that I'm an awesome skipper.
That's right. He can.
That's an inside joke.
Inside joke. He can skip
all
with the best of them.
All those dreamers will know that one.
That's right. So he can skip.
But outside that, I got started at a very young age. Both my parents were chefs, well known in the market. My father worked for President Eisenhower as a chef. Queen Elizabeth, he was a chef for, amongst other people. Born and raised in Switzerland, so he had the natural love of painting and photography that brought it into me. Now, my mom, she was a phenomenal baker and cooker and with soup. Put those two together in a mix, and she loved drawing and she loved cartoons. Wow. So at a very young age, that kind of inspired me to get into the cartoons early as first grade.
Wow.
Charlie Brown.
Okay. So did you find yourself like you would see something and you're just redrawing what you were seeing?
The
Charles Schultz and all the people do.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And from that point on in school, the teachers were using me to do their bulletin boards, which was fun.
Wow.
So at a very young age, I appreciate art. I didn't know I was going to be a cartoonist, a photographer, and everything else at that time. But what I did know, I liked it a lot.
Okay.
It's like when you get that taste of water and you're like, that's good water.
Okay. So you went through school, and at some point, did you go into studying this on an official basis?
Great question. At the time, I graduated from high school in 1985. There was not a lot of in the industry that was teaching cartoons, should I say, or what I was interested in. Okay. I went to several college opportunities. They were all abstract art. It wasn't my cup of tea. So I'm like, 3 miles down from my house, I didn't know there was a school called the Joe Kuber School of Cartoon Graphic Arts.
Okay.
And I visited there, and next thing I know is all these well-known artists from day back with Walt Disney from the 1940s working there, teaching.
That sounds like a divine intervention. Now, where were you living at the time? Where was this?
In New Jersey.
Okay.
And it was right there. And it was so awesome for that.
Okay.
So he was one of the teachers is Milt Neal. So he worked on Dumbo, Fantasia, Pinocchio. He created Howdy Doody in the Peanut Gallery.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So so having that type of teacher as one of the amongst others that were there, I'm like, I'm a kid at a candy store.
Yeah. So was that so you went into that? How long did that last? That
was a 3-year program. It already in the first year, but definitely in the second, third year, we were already working on projects because the teachers were hiring the students. So we're getting on the job training. So we were going in and out of the city doing projects and understanding that the film industry, as well as the whole compilation, what it would take to be as an animator to stop motion animation. Okay. But my goal was animation.
Okay.
And but it ended up that I was doing animation and graphic design because graphic design was just coming in that.
Okay.
I still have my Mac, a 1984 128K Mac.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, keep that because that's...
So not only am I an artist, I'm a techie. I love technology. Well, so as soon as I graduated, they hired me to teach night class on the computer.
Yeah.
And one of the other elements that I had was a publishing company just down the street again that was hired me to do their desktop publishing to make their books.
Wow. Okay.
So at the time, I met this one guy from high school. Next thing you know, he's there. He happens to be a twin, phenomenal artist, Greg Hildebrandt. Him and his brother were identical twins. His paintings are phenomenal. He's in the back painting at the public. I kind of knew him.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. I'm like, once again.
Yeah.
And it was really good.
Wow. That's amazing.
What he's known for, him and his brother they did the original Star Wars poster.
Well, that's
Okay.
no small thing.
Yeah.
So,
You know what I
wow.
mean? That was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
He only got paid $1,000 for it, and they had 1 week to finish it. And they're identical twins, and they paint the same way, and they paint from left and right, and they met in the middle. That's the one where he's holding the lifesaver and everything with the all the it's a light brown one, not the black one,
Yeah.
background and everything.
That is amazing.
But again, having that type of mentor, the people I could go back there lunchtime, priceless.
Yeah.
From there, I was doing a lot of freelancing. I've done video games, desktop publishing, graphic design, a slew of things I was doing. I did stuff for Disney, Warner Brothers, and Marvel Comics. I even got the Kubert School, to teach cartoon and graphics on the computer, on coloring, should I say.
Okay.
So Joe Kubert is like the Michael Jordan out of comics. He has 2 sons, Andy and Adam, that are in the industry still right now.
Wow.
But I got them set up, and that was really good. I worked on 6 comic books and for the Punisher series, and then 1 for the X-Men. So it was really, really fun.
Okay. What time frame would that have been? Was that back in the
This is in the mid-90s.
Okay.
Mid-90s, yeah. There's a lot of in-between stuff. I'm just skipping a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But in between all that, then I got also hired to do work for a company called Absolute Entertainment to do video games. And that was a friend that I grew up with from my neighborhood.
This is, that's an amazing
The key thing that I always say whenever I go anywhere, bottom line, networking. What are the one things that artists would retain from any place I go to, elementary school to high school, and teaching anybody I mentor? I say, you got to network.
Yeah.
If you don't open up your mouth and say, exchange numbers or whatever, you don't know who you're talking. It doesn't have to be artist to artist.
Yeah.
It could be a secretary, and they could align you up, just like how yesterday's TV show happened.
Right.
I'll explain
Just
that in a second.
Okay.
Later. But anyway, so my friend Dennis calls me up, and I end up going there and working for this company, and we're making video games for Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Sega. We're doing big titles for them. It was fun. It was really, really fun.
So it's interesting that you said you're a techie, because I think a lot of people might like the art aspect, but not the techie aspect. In those roles, were you free to do more of the art when you were working on the video games, and then other people were doing the techie part, or was it kind of intertwined in your job?
It was natural.
Yeah.
It was so easy. But you hit the, it's very interesting, because a lot of times people do have that problem. They say, I don't want to go digital. They don't, back then, everything's traditional, which is, I understand. And they're kind of scared of it. I was into computers.
Yeah.
And I used to pull them apart. I used to develop things to make my computer go faster, like the old days when we pull up the block of the car and take it apart and put it together.
Right.
Same thing there with the computer.
Okay.
But encouraging other artists is a key thing nowadays, and it's the reversed.
Okay.
Not to do that computer, to go traditional right now.
Okay. To learn. And what is your take on that then? You think that's the best route, or you're saying that's the route that's encouraged out there?
Well, as of now, they're going the wrong way.
Okay.
It's because basically they are doing everything on their digital, on their iPads and stuff like that.
Got you. Okay.
And they're not learning traditional drawing.
Okay.
And that's where it comes right back to my drawing series.
Right.
And that will bring into that segment of my how to draw cartoons.
Okay. And I think that crosses over into things I'm passionate about: writing, script writing, etc. I think people are learning, like, they want to make movies, so they study movies and they don't study storytelling. So they're not going back to get that. Yeah.
Very important.
Okay. Great. All right. Well, fast forward. I don't know how far fast forward.
We'll
what
do
was
20
next?
years, 30 years in that. There's a lot of other in-between stuff in there. But currently where I am right now, where I was working, when I said Warner Brothers, I did all their garment design. So back in the mid-90s, when they had the pockets and the sleeves with the characters embroidered coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so much fun.
Oh, wow.
Doing a lot of that stuff.
Bet.
So having the publishing, having the computer aspect, and teaching, and then working with the video games and advertisement, in the general market, it was just blossoming. But in the Christian market, back in 1998, that's when I kicked into the CBA at that time. And the CBA is the Christian Bookseller Association.
Okay.
They don't exist anymore, but
Okay.
then they were international. Went to my first show with some of my products from another company that they bought, and I just saw the market. That's when VeggieTales was just coming in,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah.
And now, in the fast forward another 10 years forward, there's nothing that's in the market for family friendly, being honest.
Right.
And so back in 98, that's when I kind of left the general market for cartoons and stuff, and I was trying to put more positive messages and more faith-based content in there.
Yeah.
And the struggle that I had with that is nobody's interested in helping produce it. They're more interested in the live action stuff.
Okay.
And how many times have I come to that door, it got closed? Too many times.
Okay. So what keeps you going?
And what kept me going is God. All right. Because there's a passion. Just because the doors are closed, that's another good to know. Even though the door is closed, that doesn't mean it is a no. I knock down the doors and network and everything. It's in his time, not my time.
Yeah. That's so encouraging, because I know so many people who I think have that tendency, myself included. You think, well, these doors are closing or nothing's opening up. Maybe this isn't the route, but you're saying if God's put that in your heart, you don't give up. You keep going.
As we know, how long did it take Noah to build the ark?
A long time.
Long time. How many years did Moses had to walk the desert? 40.
Yes,
right. So when we look at our lives now, we look at that 42nd or that 300 hour mark. Okay, we're not looking at the years that it takes up. It's in God's timing. Yes. But we need to be ready and equipped when that door is open to run through, and not to be like, I can't.
That's so good. That's such great wisdom. I think our listeners and viewers will really appreciate that. And you guys probably need that encouragement, because I know there are a lot of you out there who have something on your heart that you feel God's called you to do, some form of creativity or whatever the case may be. So I appreciate you saying that.
Absolutely.
That's so good.
And when we are patient enough, when God opens those doors, we got to be ready, because right now I'm in a flood zone right now, because he's just flooding me on there. And that all goes to leaving God's hand, but networking. And that leads to this one scenario I would just say is where we met on that cruise ship and everything. I didn't know anybody really.
Right.
Okay, I knew Kenny and Kyle, met them one time at a Dreamers in Tennessee. I'm in North Carolina now. Right. So this was right when COVID was kind of open up, that they said, yeah, you can go without masks. And Tennessee was the first, boom, I'm there.
Yeah.
I was there with a heartbeat. And I'm like, I don't got to wear the mask.
Yeah. And the great thing about that, because we met you guys there, and we knew a few people when we went on that trip, but we didn't know. It's great to be around other people who are dreamers, as we call it, and people who encourage one another. That's something a lot of people don't have. And if you can find that kind of network of people who are encouraging you, it's something about it. It energizes you.
Yes. Yeah. The key with everything that we do as a follower of Christ, I really want to say, is it's not about us. It's about him. Right. So I might be the thumb or the pinky or whatever, and how we help and encourage each other. And at the Gideon Festival, the film festival, that started off that way. And the same way when I went to the cruise, I wasn't looking how it's about me. I want to say, how can I help others right there? I always want to encourage people, lift them up, but it's like, you need help with something. Let me see if I can point them or encourage them or give them a tool. And that's exactly the same thing, like how we met. And with Lee, it's like he wants to do the audio with this other project. I'll mention that one soon too, potentially. And the Gideon Festival is the same way. So it was a ton of opportunities came in there. Our friend Tom Coverly, I met it there, and then also Mark. These two together and myself, we found out we're all from Jersey. I'm the real Jersey boy. I
don't hear the Joyzy coming out.
Jersey.
Anyway.
That's north-south. It depends. So anyway, we developed a friendship, and then Diane was on there, and she was reached out to me, and she said she's managing Mark and trying to help get the word about his background as a stunt guy. Man, this guy is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
So I had this idea. And the whole idea that I had basically is to take him, myself, and Tom, go out west and just talk about his experience in the movie, set it up in environments and in places that might have had some movie shots, and just cast that whole wisdom of God, how we walked in our own lives, like three disciples, and going out there and just, it's all about him though.
I love it. That is great.
So,
but you're the face, you're the hands and feet, and I'm sure people are going to be so blessed by that. That's going to be great.
We'll see if that happens, but if it does, it possibly is going to happen.
Okay.
And if it does, you'll be the first to know.
Okay.
All right. You guys will be the first to know.
And we'll let you guys know. We'll follow up and let everyone know about it. That's exciting.
And from that, then, on the Gideon Festival, what happened was I actually met a guy called Termite, a boxer.
Termite?
Yeah.
Okay.
His name is Termite.
I love it. I'm not familiar with Termite. Okay.
He's a cowboy down in Texas, and his name is that due to his families. They were pest controls.
Okay.
So they were kind of a termite. But he became a boxer. He has an incredible story about who he is and how he became a boxer and the stuff that he has helped during the Iraq-Kuwait war even. He was over there. Wow. That's another conversation. Anyway, so before knowing all this, I just looked at his personality and his background and some of the stuff. I said, you'd be a great cartoon character, a little cowboy, because he goes in the inner cities and stuff and talks to kids. No different than like Tom.
Yeah.
And Tom does all those bullying events. So I turned him into one of my sharks for the friend fish.
I love it. I love it. We're going to get into friend
shark,
fish.
But it's a friendly shark, not a mean one.
With
a Jersey accent.
That is fantastic. And, I mentioned John-Marc's shirt when we first started. For those of you who are listening, we're looking at some friendly fish on his shirt, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. But so what happened after you started getting into doing the video games and all the other things? Where'd you go from there?
Well, God always opens up those doors, and you're always helping with projects, graphic design, publishing, marketing, and all that stuff. But always having something in the background, what you're always working on, like your little hobby, your little pet project, and my pet project was what God gave to me was Friend Fish. And what Friend Fish is all about, this is like a comic book they have. Friend Fish is based on friendship, as we can see, and fish are a representation of Jesus Christ. And where we are in this world, we are all orphans, and all the fish are orphans in this aquarium. And it's very family friendly and has a positive message in there, and it's a lot of antics and silly stuff that can go on in there. Yeah. So I was developing that whole concept of putting the market. Everyone likes it, but then that goes to the problem with all the distributors and producers that they were like, we love it, but it's not live action stuff. And I'm like, why aren't you going after the kids?
Right.
And when I went to the film festival, I was sharing some stuff to the people. The best situation I can really say is, as a follower of Christ, what we're missing is when the kids are born, to the kids that are in college level, there's nothing in between to hold them in place. Yeah. So all the film and aspects of the reality shows and stuff, they have content or books here, but nothing in between.
Right.
So where's the lessons?
Yeah.
Or the practicals? Don't get me wrong. The Bible is what we need.
Absolutely.
Okay, the Bible first and foremost. But when those kids are walking that route, they're walking the routes with the content that's in the industry right now. They're saying you could be this, that, the other thing. You could be a plant. You could be a tree, whatever you want to be. I'm like, no, that's not biblical.
Right.
Well, our kids are getting that at school, seeing that on the TV shows, picking up the comic books. We need to fill that gap. It's not just mine. There's a ton of stuff that we need to bring in there to help seamlessly in there. So we have the four walls in the church. We preach in there, but when the kids leave, there's a bigger market out there that's destroying them.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm trying to fill. So that's my passion.
I love it. And you have to meet kids where they are. I know our son, our youngest son in particular, loved the Action Bible, which actually had the Word of God in it, but it was
You mean Sergio?
comic.
I went to school with him.
Oh, my
We
goodness.
went to school together.
Okay. Well, do you know that I could he read that, voraciously. He would read it and then reread it. It's like, it's this thick. Yeah. And I could tell a change in him because the Word of God was getting in him, but he was enjoying it. Yeah. And that's what we need.
That reached worldwide. It's in different languages. He's from Brazil. We went actually to school together at the same time and everything, but he had to come back and forth with family problems that he had there, but all good. Yeah. And he's a solid guy. We're friends, and I wish him the best because that's what we need. So you have the four walls, but that comic book, it's not comic, the Bible is really well done. Yeah. Okay. And that can be translated to all the different languages that the kids are not just looking at text, they're looking at it and they're like, oh, there's an interest. Yes. And that's the same point with the Friend Fish. Absolutely. So what he has something strong for the inner wall. So when the kids come inside, you're feeding them the good nutrition. Outside, this is where I come to pull them into the nutrition and anything.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
And
so when did your idea for Friendfish come about then? How long ago was that?
This came all inspired of the time when my father was passing away. In a matter of minutes, when I was just coming out of the hospital when he was passing away from pancreatic cancer, came really quick. God just revealed everything, the whole concept, the whole name, everything. It's not me.
Wow.
This has nothing to do with me. I'm doing the art and putting it together and promoting and putting into pieces, but it's him inspired.
I love it. So in addition to your friendly shark, you've got lots of other characters. So that's been a big part of it, right? Developing the characters and visually, but also their personalities.
Yes.
So have you had other inspirations for personalities?
Personalities in there. You just gotta have to wait to see who comes. Maybe no, I do. Actually, I do have a well-known comedian. He's going to be the Flitch. He's a main character. He's a comedian. Then I have Jellica. She's more the diva, the social person, a singer. So I have a person. She's a up-and-coming Christian artist singer. And then I have Mel, who's a real fast little fish. So at the very end of this podcast, we're going to show my theme song.
Yes.
And you'll hear all that with the characters in there. But the guy who wrote the theme songs actually got, I believe, a Grammy Award for Song of the Year, I think 2000 or 2001.
Wow. Okay.
His wife will be the voice for Mel.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Then we have Puff, the little blowfish. That's me. He's an artist.
Okay.
So, and then we have a little crab, and we have Jammy. He likes to play. So think of it kind of like, I forgot, of course, Yo-Yo. He don't talk. He just blows bubbles.
Okay. I like it.
But with that, the characters just don't end there. They can always pull in other elements in there. So I have bad characters. I have piranhas. I have sharks that are bad. Once again, Tom Shark is not a bad shark. No fish were hurt while filming any of these lessons. Anyway, so with that, these characters and the voices, that is key too, as well as script, as well as music, as you know, with Lee.
Takes it all.
Having art's great, but you need good script. And this is what I learned at the Cuba School. You need script, music, and art. You put it together, you got wonderful content.
Right.
And thinking of that, what are some of the big movies that ever made it in the industry? Are always kids. Lion King.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really good. In our market, I hear crickets. Anybody interested? Let me know, because we have great ideas.
Right. And like you said, and it's so needed. This is what kids love. And I've heard that theme song. It's very catchy. So you're going to want to stick around for that. It's good stuff. Good stuff. And you've got these other products here in front of us. Is there anything you want to tell us about?
I have a lot of stuff that I brought here. I also have a video game that's on my iPad and iPhone that you can actually use. Everything is connected to my website. We'll give a link later.
Absolutely.
But from all that, after the trip, going back to the cruise and everything, my How to Draw a Cartoon series, 2 days ago was a year when Channel 57 Atlanta reached out to me and he said, we would like to have your series for a block in there for a half hour. I'm like, game on.
Yeah, that is wonderful.
So after the whole cruise happened, I had to produce a whole bunch of elements. I ended up now with 5 different TV stations streaming. Picked up another one yesterday where I just came from.
Just yesterday?
Yeah. In Nashville. So, and another one is going to come out pretty soon. They're a large streaming service coming from.
Oh, that is wonderful. That's exciting. And so what are on the show? Like, what are the shows like?
My series is on teaching kids how to draw cartoons. So I open it up a little fun and I talk about the 3 different characters or elements that we're going to do. And then from there, you watch me draw and sketch traditionally. Sometimes I might do one on the computer, but what I do is I share the technique lightly and they get a little harder and harder and I set the computer up.
Okay.
And it's just practical tools and the fundamentals of art.
Yeah.
And then I also have cut the series 3, because 2 I'm working on. Season 3, I'm sorry. Season 1's done. Season 2 is just about done. Season 3 is going to be mostly on coloring.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. That's so exciting. And is that I mean, how much, I guess that's a lot of work. I mean, a lot of planning goes into deciding what you're going to do for each show. But does that kind of come to you naturally too? Do you feel like you get into a flow with doing all of this?
Before I'd had that show, I had probably close to 700 videos on YouTube already doing that.
Yeah.
So I had places that had these shorts.
Sure.
So now what I'm doing is taking some of these shorts and I got to bridge them in between that 24 for some places and 28 for some places. They depend on what they need.
Right.
So I kind of have to fill it in there. So I videotape myself and I have 5 segues or 6 in between, depending if it's 24 or 28. And from that point on, I just piecemeal those middle drawings, those lessons in between.
And your YouTube channel's still out there, like viewers anywhere can get onto that and look at that content and follow along. And
that's it. Yeah, I appreciate that. And anything, comments or show me work. And the thing is, it's not just for kids. People think, oh, it's my preschool, my elementary kid. I'm like, you know what? When I went to the art school, I was already 17, 18. I was wanting to do that. So it can be for your older kids.
Right.
Don't think cartoons are just for the little teeny ones.
Right.
Because I was a guest at Comic-Cons, a lot of them. New York Comic-Con, 7 years we were there, and 3 years I was a guest artist there. But sometimes we do smaller Comic-Cons. And what I love is they have like these round tables set up, the big ones. And the rule of the thumb, if you sit at my table, no matter who you are, you got to draw. So if you're a mom and dad, they're like, oh, what the kid? I'm like, I can't draw.
But deep down, they're probably loving it.
Well, one time a father and son came. I could just see them in the distance. They weren't having a best day. They were distance. And as soon as a kid was trying to draw, you saw his face, and the dad was just sitting there right next to him. I said, Dad, since you're here, you got to draw. So I give him paper. So moments later, do you see them drawing, laughing, smiling, giggling? They get up, they walk away, hand and shoulder behind each other and walk on. I said, that's exactly where my How to Draw series was. It's not about me. It's the fellowship. That's what we're supposed to be here, encourage and lifting people up and just giving a little smile that we need so much nowadays.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we try to emphasize just in any kind of our creativity is that it's not just about the end product. It's the process. It's working together with others. And we've found some of the best kingdom community among fellow, people who are like-minded. We're working on projects together, and sometimes that's the best. I mean, that is the fellowship of the kingdom. That's where it happens. Yes,
you never know whatever you're working on, what you're working on, who it will be touched ever. I had this one time I was at the Matthew W. West event where they had some booths up in New Jersey. And I had some of my comic books on my artwork back then. I did another comic book. I didn't do the art, but I helped put it together. It's called Mecha Manga Bible Heroes. Okay, it was on David and Goliath, but it was more Japanese style in that case. Yeah. So when I did that, and that was only one comic book we did. I had a couple out there. This guy comes out of the blue. He goes, what's that? I'm like, comic book. He goes, did you do that? I'm like, I helped produce. It's not my art or anything. He goes, you helped produce that? He goes, just let you know, that saved a 10-year-old kid.
Woo. And I went, that's so powerful.
Whoa.
Yeah. So how many stories will we not know about until we're in eternity?
When you go upstairs.
That's right. That's right. Well, John-Marc, we want to wrap it up soon.
Sure.
Because we definitely want to have time to show the video at the end.
That's right.
And so any final thoughts?
Yeah. So check out my website. It's jmg-studio.biz. And you'll see my friend Fish stuff on there, my drawing, a lot of different merchandise. And if you have anything of interest or just to talk, you have a kid or somebody that's interested in the art, I'll be more than happy to inspire them.
Yeah, that is fantastic. And we're going to put links below so that you guys can connect with John-Marc. And John-Marc, thank you so much. This has been fantastic. I love learning more about, the process and how you came to be so involved in all of this. And I know there's more to the story, but this was just fantastic. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's our honor and our pleasure. And we will see you all on the next episode.
Ocean City is the place to be if you want to see all the fish in the sea. Fletch is a joker and Mel is super fast. Jammy and Jelly and Yo-Yo are a blast. Jellica's a beauty and all the friends agree. They're more than a family. They're friendly fish. Watch out for the piranhas, even some of the sharks. But if you're looking for some fun, here they are. They're friend fish, friend fish. They are a fish's best friend.
Don't forget to like this video and please subscribe to our channel. Drop your comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you prefer audio podcasts, please follow us on your favorite streaming platform.